the power that is wielded by a number of countries in this world should also be used rationally and reasonably, and get to understand that Africa, for example, is as important as they are. And Africa is not there to be influenced, or to take sides according to the lines they have decided or determined. Those two things must be addressed. How rational the powerful parts of the world are.
Welcome to a very rainy Dubai, something that we're used to in Africa, but not here in the UAE.
Happy to see you.
Fantastic. In April this year, it would have been 30 years since the Rwanda genocide. It's an important time to remember. You've built the country back in a very strong and formidable way, but it is important to remember the atrocities that are unconscionable, a tragedy that shouldn't have occurred. The world watched on over that period, and many would say the international community turned its back on Rwanda and didn't intervene. It's a pertinent conversation to have right now, given what we're seeing in this very region, where there are questions about international law being broken and the way that it is applied in Gaza. Do you believe that the international community has not taken heed of the lessons of Rwanda, and that we are making the same mistakes again as humanity?
Well, happy to see you, Eleni, and happy to be back here in Dubai for this summit. It's always good to be here. There are many ideas that one learns from and contributes to as well. So to the question, lessons learned is always talked about, but I don't see many in the world learning lessons. We should be learning from history, from many things that have happened, from a lot of events. In the case of Rwanda, what you've just said happened. We had a tragedy of the century, more or less, and there wasn't much in terms of mobilization for what was happening to be stopped. It had not been prevented. But at least we were left with an opportunity to learn from it. We have learned ourselves. The world needed to learn. But when you see so many things happening in the world, you question whether lessons were learned. And it's not just in Gaza, or it's in many parts of the world. There are so many conflicts, there are things happening that with the resources in the world and with the power in hands of some people, these things should not be happening. It means the power, the influence, the kinds of things some big countries have in their hands are not being put to good use, and that's why we see conflicts, instability, and loss of life to this extent that we see every day.
So is it fair to say then, Mr. President, that the international community just is failing because it doesn't have the mechanisms, the resources? I mean, we saw the interim ruling from the International Court of Justice. There's been so much happening at the UN Security Council, frankly, on various issues, and you spoke about other conflicts and other atrocities that are happening even on the continent, by the way, in Africa. How would you define what should be done? Because you've always been someone that spoke about prevention as opposed to be reactionary to what we're seeing on the conflict front.
Very true. Countries, nations, regions, international institutions should be there, in fact should have been there to ensure that there is a capacity to actually prevent these things that consume people's lives, and like lives are worthless. To prevent that, or to quickly stop that wherever it is taking place. But we don't see that happening. So there is a big question mark, therefore, to those in whose hands there is so much power that they have all kinds of resources to use for that to happen, and yet it doesn't happen. So we need to go back to the basics. There must be things that people know, whether it is equality, whether it is fight against division, and preventing people using divisive politics to which underlies, in most cases, these tragic happenings across the world.
So as the people of Rwanda remember 30 years ago, where almost 1 million people died, were killed, what do you call on the international community to do right now?
Well, I don't know what is new that I would call the world to do that we didn't call the world to do in the past, or that time it was happening. But that is a very significant signal that the world is not learning much from what is happening or what has happened in the past to be able to prevent such a situation from occurring. So what is it there that I can tell the world that has, that can influence the world to operate differently? I don't know. But for those of us who have experienced these situations and circumstances, we've learned our lessons. In fact, one lesson learned is that for countries, that's why I said countries need to build their own capacities. There are also going to be times when you are on your own. And even for things that should attract support or, synergies across, because there is no one country that has everything. When you need such, it will not happen. It won't be coming. So. And
you'll be on your own.
You'll be on your own.
It's a very, very important point. Speaking of being on your own, Africa only now has a permanent seat on the G20, and that's through the AU. Antonio Guterres, the UN chief, is calling for a permanent seat for Africa at the UN Security Council. For far too long, frankly, Mr. President, Africa has not been included in influencing global decisions. Do you think that these two seats, these two changes, hopefully at the UN Security Council as well, but at the G20, is going to change that?
Well, those two seats are long overdue. One would ask, why did it not happen 10, 20 years ago, or even more? Why is it even being talked about now? And in reality, with the G20, it's beginning to happen. But here I want to say this. There are two problems. One is we, Africa itself, we need to organize, to be together,